Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today, two great musicians. I guess you call conductor a musician. I guess he's...
I hope so.
Yeah, you still play a little bit. Anyway, Ed Richards here, former band director at RMA, and Mike DeMato, he is the current band director at RMA. And we always give Ed a hard time over the last 40 years. How long's it been, Ed?
43 years at RMA.
43 years at RMA. So he was there when my kids went there when they were... That was a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
I can remember that. That's great. Anyway, one of the things that are coming up here this month is the Military Band Festival. It's been quite a few years. We've done them in the past. We covered those, so if we research that, we'll put a link to... But it's been like, 3 or 4 years since we've really done one.
2020.
2020. Well, that seems like
yes.
3 or 4 years. Oh,
it seems ages ago.
It seems like eternity ago, I know. But these band festivals are so cool because bands come from all over the country. From school. Are they all military schools?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so
yes,
I guess so, because they call it a military band festival. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the festival and what's going to be happening in RMA, or maybe Michael should start doing that, since we'll let him we'll let him break his leg. Here we go. Go ahead, Michael.
Sure. So military school band and actually choir festival, which was a newer component that we added a few years ago. And like you said, there are students from all over the country, which makes this festival really unique. Public schools get to compete in all district or all county, all state. And this festival is for the military schools from all over the country, so those students get an opportunity to do something similar.
Yeah.
So band, choir, and then there's also a drum major aspect to that, where they have.
And that's really cool. I mean, cool. You don't think much about that when you see them, but when they do these little examinations that they're doing, marching the people back and forth across the gym and stuff, I was impressed with how well that these kids really get into that. I mean,
this is probably the only opportunity high school students would have to learn to be a military drum major.
Right.
And it's from the drum major of one of the premier military service bands.
Yeah.
This year we have James Anderson, who's the new drum major of the United States Navy Band, who will be training the drum majors.
And it's so cool. It's really a neat thing to watch. And we're inviting the public to these events.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is what's cool about it. And you mentioned these things from all over the country, but you realize that they're going to RMA to hold this conference. I mean, that's really a big deal. We're stuck out here middle of nowhere. I mean, these schools are in every state. I mean, there's quite a few of them. And yet, I just think coming to Front Royal is a great thing. And to recognize RMA as really a premier school to hold these festivals is great. I mean,
For sure, yeah. Coming to RMA is wonderful, and we've got DC so close by, so a lot of the kids get to see what the nation's capital has to offer as well.
Well, they always take on a field trip,
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's pretty prestigious to have RMA host these events like this. Yeah, it's great. So tell us, we got to have the band concert. When is it, and what do we expect? So
the concert itself is going to be on Sunday, February 26th. That's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And in addition, that drum major competition we were talking about is the evening before. That's on Saturday, February 25th.
Okay.
And the time for that?
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock,
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's really cool that, and so, we're going to have a lot of kids there, but you're not all of them aren't going to be playing in this band. So this is like the best of the best. Is that how you do it? You kind of let them audition?
It is. It's they will come in on Thursday night they come into the hotels, and then on Friday morning we start with auditions. The first thing Friday morning, and they audition not to be in the band but for chair placement.
Right.
And so all the band musicians have to audition, and we use the directors as auditioners. And then we seat the band according to those auditions.
Okay.
Then at the same time, the drum majors go off to a separate location where they start working with the drum major from the Navy Band and learning that skill. And the choir then will begin rehearsals as well. We have some really outstanding clinicians, both for the choir and for the band also.
Right.
So,
well, the Royal Examiner goes to these things because Ed twists my arm, but no.
we really appreciate it.
But it's really a cool thing. I love it. And I can remember the one we did in 2020, and these kids are really good. I mean, But I'm just saying, you can just watching the drum majors. I always was impressed with that because just watching their face and the commands and they're really into that, the marching. And I mean, it's not as easy as it looks. And especially they're only going across the gym. They've got to get them stopped and turned around.
That's right. And one of the things that I love about it too is getting to see all the different uniforms. These kids are coming from different schools that have different branches of the military they're representing, and they're all decked out in their full service dress, and it's pretty
Some of them
impressive.
are pretty elaborate. I mean, some of those schools, the Air Force just wears a simple uniform as compared to a lot of the Army and some of these military schools, especially their dress uniform.
Medals, hats,
they got those big old hats on. Oh yeah. It's cool. It's cool. So then we have that, the drum major, the band festival, and all this is free. All right, no charge, and there's plenty of seats. I mean, well, hopefully they're standing room only.
We'd love that. We'd love that.
When you're a performer, I don't care how big the audience is, but if it's standing room only, sold out, even if you only got 50 people in the audience, it's still a better gig. You know what I mean? Don't you think? You just get that energy. And kids love the applause. Well, everybody loves the applause.
Which is the reason we're here, because we really would like to get some support from the community and people to come out and see this. It's a neat event.
The community band puts on these, and so does Army, but we're going to talk about the community band. But we put these on, 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, and the public loves it. And the musicians love it because some of these guys are no spring chickens. They're still playing, you got young guys like Michael playing, but you got guys like you in there. Ed is one of the conductors, but, guys older than you.
Well, and that's the other thing we came to talk about was the community band.
Yeah, because there's another concert coming up on that.
We've 2 days later. I must be insane that we would consider doing 2 concerts back to back, but 2 days after the military band festival on the 28th of February, it's a Tuesday evening at 7:30 back in Melton Gymnasium again.
Right.
We're doing a combined concert with the American Legion Community Band and the Clark County Community Band. And that's going to be at 7:30 also.
Wow.
And the way that will work, each band will play 4 selections, and then we're going to combine the 2 bands into one huge band to do 3 combined selections.
We'll have that Stars and Stripes forever. I'm sure that's one of the. I don't know, is it on the repertoire there or on the program? But when you get that many musicians playing those kind of songs, it just makes the hair on your arm stand up.
Yes.
It's super powerful.
And if you like military band music or marches and just horns and trumpets and all sorts of instruments that you normally don't hear nowadays, you be sure you come to these concerts. It's great fun. It's free. There's plenty of parking. It's just great. It's just great.
Plenty of parking. If you're handicapped, there's a ramp to get into Melton Gym, so it's not a problem to get in there.
Yeah.
Plenty of seating. We'll have both the bleachers, but we'll also have seating on the floor for people that don't feel like they can climb the bleachers. There'll be seating on the gym floor. And it's a big enough event that we're having to do the concerts on the gym floor because we won't fit on the stage. And the reason we're not using Boggs Chapel, where the community band normally plays, it's the same reason, because these bands are going to be big enough that they won't fit. We need the gym floor for the number of musicians.
Well, it's great. It's just great that RMA is really into the music. You spent 40-some years there, and we put on the concerts. I can remember a long time ago, we used to just record them, and make CDs of the concerts from the bands and things like that. But it's just, bands were big, bands get smaller, but I just think we're just missing that in schools. We just don't really have the music programs like we used to. They try, and they do a great job. I mean, I was just over at one at the Warren County High School. It does a great job over there. But, years ago, band was just a big thing, and it's anywhere near like it used to be. It's a shame.
We like to think of it as a big thing still.
It is.
Unfortunately, a lot of band programs did suffer from COVID.
Right.
I mean,
and once things got cut, it was hard to get back into it again. And the kids, you get into something else, and then it's just hard to go back. And it's just amazing. My son played in the community band when they were living here a little bit. But it's amazing. Music is something you can just take with you through your whole life. It may not be that trumpet you played in high school, but you might change instruments or whatever. But it's just something. Music is just I always tell people, learn to play at least one song on the piano so you can sit down and then you can fake it out, play a little of that piano music and see, and just one song. No, that's enough. I'm not going to play anymore.
That's how I play the piano. Now, Michael, on the other hand, is an accomplished pianist.
Thank you.
But I always tell people, no one song. I tell people I play the radio. That's my expertise.
Right.
But it's great. So tell us one more time. It's February 26th.
February 26th, 2 o'clock, Melton Gymnasium at Randolph-Macon Academy.
Right.
And then again,
The community
Tuesday.
band is February 28th at 7:30 p.m. in Melton Gymnasium.
Right.
And don't forget the drum major clinic.
Right. If you're really kind of like that military stuff and marching, check out that drum major competition. That's something that's really cool to watch, and that's on Friday at 7.
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday at 7.
Saturday, 7 o'clock.
Okay, so that's
Saturday
cool. Well, we'll
the
post all
25th.
those names and times and things below the video here, but it's always great, and I really appreciate all the support that you've given music in our community. I know you've touched a lot of lives, Ed, so I think that's good.
Well,
And-
it's
and
got
you
some
will
big
Big shoes
good.
to fill
you
out.
do, but music teachers are tough because like you say, it's always the one that gets cut. You always, but RMA probably is a good place to go. I know the band will get bigger and smaller as time goes on, but it's it's something I think you'll touch a lot of lives down the road. You want to do that. It's great. It's great. Maybe they'll go on and go into the Air Force band.
Yeah, that'll be something.
Yeah, well, if they don't budget cut it.
Yeah.
I've sent a couple of students over the years to the service bands, a couple to major in music in college at various schools.
yeah.
It happens.
It's hard to get a good paying job as a musician. They're out there, and I notice the ones that come from the military have gone on. When I was in the Air Force band, but as a recording engineer.
Right.
But I can remember all the people. We would travel, to Hollywood and do recordings and things, and all the producers and conductors and songwriters and stuff had all had military band backgrounds, people that you see, after they got out and moved into the commercial world, but they all had military backgrounds, and it was just great. You could see that, and they had a camaraderie of, that when the Air Force band showed up, they all come out of the woodwork,
Right.
and we did it. And we did the Tonight Show and all those kind of things. You just don't see that nowadays. It's great. But that was the Airmen of Note. We're going to give them a plug because they're really good.
Yes, they are.
All right, and thanks, Michael. Thanks, Ed. We will touch base with you. We will see you at these concerts, and we'll get those put up on the Royal Examiner. So if you do miss them, hopefully the video will come out and you'll be able to watch them there. But it's better if you watch them in person. It's much,
Absolutely.
come on.
much
Absolutely.
better. Watch that hair stand up on your arm when that march gets going, and
Yes, sir.
Yep, you love that song. I like that, the Armed Forces medley, and I don't know what it's called. There's a name for that, but it's where you play all the.
We have one of those programmed for this event, too.
Oh, there you go. I appreciate
Band
that.
and choir.
There you go. I appreciate that. Choirs too, because I did a lot of work with the singing sergeants
Right.
in the band, and it's the same thing. We kind of don't put a lot of emphasis on chorus and stuff, but when you get at the level that you're in these kind of competitions, it's really good. It's amazing. We have such really good chorals and those kind of chorus type organizations, the Oratorio Society and the Chorale. They changed their names. I don't know, Blue Ridge Singers.
Blue Ridge Singers.
But there's a lot of things like that in our valley that you just don't think would be here out in a small town. So, but it's great. We have a lot of that, a lot of music. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.